Hello, listeners, and welcome back to another episode of Lead Up for Women, Speak Up to Lead Up. I am your host, as always, Colleen Biggs. I have a special treat for you. Tish Times is with me, and we're going to get to her in just 1 minute. But before we do, I would love to talk to you a little bit about our sponsor today, which is your guided health journey. Did you know that your body speaks to you? It doesn't speak in English, it speaks in symptoms, trying to alert you to the fact that something isn't quite right as it asks you to pay attention and do something different. The problem is we are so busy, we don't pay attention. Instead, we consider the symptoms to be aging or seasonal allergies or genetics and keep on going with our daily lives, ignoring the early warning signs. Think about the ways your body has been talking to you lately: aches and pains, headaches, hot flashes, heartburn, digestive issues, or something else. These are not normal. These are the signs that your body is out of balance. A body imbalance doesn't get sick, harbor disease, or hold on to excess weight. Your guided health journey works with the entire English speaking world to keep you and help you get to the root cause of your symptoms through having you discover your toxic load and using the power of functional medicine lab tests mailed to your home, and then providing personalized wellness protocol to guide your body back to balance and literally turn back time so you feel amazing again. Get started today by taking the free Discover Your Toxic Load quiz to learn how your body is talking to you and asking you to do things differently. You can find the Discover Your Toxic Load at welcome.yourguidedhealthjourney.com/your toxic load. Now, back to our guest, Tish Times. Tish is the founder of Tish Times Networking and Sales Training. Tish is a certified networker, community builder, and franchise owner for Network in Action in Phoenix, Arizona, right here in my hometown. For over 10 years, Tish has been empowering businesses and entrepreneurs to create revenue generating business connections, shorten the sales cycle, and close sales with ease. Tish and her team help skyrocket revenue for companies with a done for you sales solution. Tish Times is an expert at helping companies to attract more leads, maintain a full pipeline, and convert more prospects to clients. Tish's book include Networking is Not a One Night Stand. I love that. The Unstoppable Confidence Networking Playbook, and the Networking and Sales Planner. Tish is the founder of Biz School, a business school that teaches a systematic, sincere, and effective approach to networking and sales to produce lucrative bottom line results. And that's why we called today's show Close Sales with Ease. And Tish, we all want to know how to close sales with ease, don't we?
Oh, yes.
Seems to be the conversation.
Indeed, indeed. I am so glad to be here and to talk about that, and I'm sure many other things. Thanks for having me today, Colleen.
Yeah, it's so great to have you here, and I know that the listeners already are just on the edge of their seats, like, yes, let's talk about sales. And when sales comes to my mind, Tish, I automatically just think about opportunity. I think when we have that word sales and it's it's in our mind, people feel like they have to push, they have to pull, they have to convince, right? That's kind of the sales stigma that's stuck with that word. I really feel like it's opportunity. So tell me why sales is so sexy to you. I want to know how you got started. Why is sales so sexy? Because it can be to
Yeah.
some people.
Yeah. First of all, I love that question so much because it is. And it really, I think it comes down to the way you think about sales. Because many people will automatically get that dread, that fear, that feeling of, oh my God, I have to ask someone for something instead of, like you said, it's an opportunity to serve. It is the way that people get what they want, and we help people to get exactly what they want and what they need. And I felt the same way about it. Like other people, when I first got started, I was afraid of it. I was very happy in my little cubicle because I was in the staffing world and I was really good at placing people in jobs. And there was a very well-meaning, lovely area manager who saw something in me. And she literally tricked me into sales because she told me that I was going to be a performance manager. I was going to help be the liaison between the sales team and the operations team. And that's how she kind of got me into the mindset of, okay, you're going to go out, you're going to help build relationships, you're going to talk to people, you're going to help build bridges between the people who need something and the people who have what they need. And that's how I got into it. And before you know it, I was making sales. I was bringing loads of dollars to the bottom line. And I looked up one day and I had a commission structure and I had, all these things that go along with sales. But because I didn't see myself as a quote unquote sales professional, it was not the word I was using at that time, I fell in love with it. And it just is, it's my jam. It's what I do. It's what I love helping other people to do. And my most important thing is to help people change their mindset around themselves. If you think of it differently, everything changes. And I love what I do so much.
That's what I was just going to say. It's perspective. And we had this conversation with some of my clients the other day, and they were talking about enrolling. And they were saying, I'm tired of being an enroller. I'm constantly always enrolling people. And it really stayed with me. And after about 2 days, I remember messaging all of them in a group on Facebook. And I said, the word enrollers really stuck with me, and how your perspective was, the other day on that. Don't we enroll our husbands to like take the garbage out? Don't we enroll our kids to get home for dinner at 6? I enroll my grandkids to pick up their toys. So I'm saying that because we are enrollers in everything we do in our entire life. And when you see yourself as offering other people opportunities, when if you didn't speak up, like you said, cultivating relationships, building bridges, just being a good person and connecting with other people, that's selling yourself every second of every day. Every day.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I love to say, think of yourself as the host to an event, the host of a party. You get to invite people in, you get to help introduce them to other people, you get to connect them. So if you see yourself as inviting someone instead of, we might use that word enroll or sale or whatever word fits, what makes you really happy and brings you joy and allows you to be that for other people, then use whatever phrase you want. But at the end of the day, you're helping people get what they want. And that's all that matters, right? That's what
Oh,
we're,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and we talked about shifting our mindset. So let's talk about that for a second, because, how does someone shift their mindset if they see it as sales? Maybe they've had a really bad experience with
Right,
sales in the past, let's say.
right.
And because of that bad experience, it's left a bad taste in their mouth. They really have a tough time getting over that experience. They're carrying it with them still. So their mindset is they're really blocking themselves from sales because they see it as a negative. It's got a negative tied to it. How does that mindset shift for people?
You know, what I've done with some of my clients over the years, Colleen, is I've given them, because many times if I say, okay, let's talk about your pipeline and let's talk about your numbers and, your profit margins, they like gloss over, right? So I've started saying, instead of saying, let's make $1 million, I'll say, let's help 1 million people. And for them, it's like, oh yeah, I totally want to do that. So again, it might be different for different people. But if you think of it from a service perspective, if you think about it from a helping perspective, a leading, a connecting, whatever that needs to be for you. So I'm speaking to the audience. If you're having a difficult time making that connection because there's a block, whatever it might be, around your sales language, then just change the language, and think about what really brings you joy. If it is inviting people into something, if it is helping people with something or making that connection for them, just change your language around it and really build your business around that thing that brings you the joy and helps add dollars to your bottom line, because we're not here. Many of us might have nonprofit organizations, and that's great, but most of us are in for-profit businesses. So we
Yeah.
have to figure out a way to be that help, to be that connector, to be that
Yeah.
an inviter while still bringing dollars to the bottom line. But I think the way you change your mindset is to change your language, because we
Yeah.
believe most what we say, right? And so if we're changing the way we're thinking about it, the way we're talking about it, then it's going to change what we believe about it. That's what I think.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's such a great perspective to look on how to do that, because I just I can't, stop but think of when, and I don't feel this way,
Right.
I feel that the more we show up as ourselves, the more that we're passionate about something, the more that we get out there and are passionate about all these things, that the more that other people are attracted to us, which is why I wrote the book about stepping into the spotlight to attract the right clients by expanding our influence to more and more and more people. The more people that we meet, we're not jumping on each person and saying, hey, do you want to buy my programs? Hey, do you want to buy my book? Hey, do you want to buy, we're not just constantly asking people all the time to buy something from us. We're out there showing people who we are, what we're about. That attracts other people to you to say, hey, I want to learn more about her. I really like Tish's fire. I love her drive. I love the way she, flips that sales conversation. How do I get into her community to learn more? That's kind of the first step. And then people get in your community and they want to learn more and they dig a little bit deeper with you and they might attend some of your events or do some of your free downloads. And then before you know it, they have made a decision for themselves that they want to be part of what you're doing and work with you. Wouldn't you say that tends to be the process that happens?
Absolutely. And I think that if people will give themselves permission to really just be themselves, that's where everything changes, because you're right. People fall in love with the energy in your space. They fall in love with the content that you provide, the solutions that you give them, and they're going to want more. So I think that that's one of the most important things, when people just give themselves permission to show up consistently as themselves and to just be who they are in their community. People will be drawn to it and they're going to say
Yeah.
yes, they're going to raise their hands, and you're not going to have to beg them to do anything. I always say, if you have to beg them to come, then you'll have to beg them to stay. So you don't
Right.
want to do that, right? You want to invite them and let them get what they need from you, and they're going to want more.
Yeah, I always say the right ones will be in the room that need to be there. They will be listening to your podcast. They will be attending one of your events. The ones that aren't the ones that should be there, they won't be there. But just trust and have faith, right? There's this faith
Yes.
component.
Yes.
And I remember my husband and I had this fun conversation the other day because someone said to me, I hate going to these certain conferences because they're going to make an offer at the end. And I just hate it when they make an offer. Well, my husband's perspective of that was that's why I go to those conferences. He said, I go to learn what they can teach me. And then I pray they have an offer at the end because based on their offer, it's going to determine if I work with them or not, if it's what I really need more of them to learn how to do this. Right. So he sees it as an opportunity where someone else on the same day said to me, oh, I hate going to these because they make an offer. And you're right. It's just a shift of perspective and mindset. So when we look at it as opportunities, when someone presents us with an opportunity to work with them or be in their community or be part of what they're doing, we have the choice to
Yeah.
say yes or no if it fits in with, and I think that's considered boundaries too, Tish. Do you
Without a
think there's
doubt.
a boundary issue that happens
So
with
what you're saying, I'm literally like, I'm bubbling over here because I'm
and
like, I'm literally like, because okay, I remember, like I said, I also had that weird perspective, that feeling of I don't want to ask them, I don't want to bother them. I totally been there, so I know what that feels like. So I started hosting these events. That's how I started this business, hosting these networking events, because I love connecting people, right? I love putting people in the same room and helping them define what they need. Well, I had done this for almost a year without making an offer, without inviting people to learn from me. And I will never forget this moment where one of my would-be clients at the time stands up at the end of my event in front of all of my audience and says, when are you going to tell us how we can work with you? And I was blown away, embarrassed, because I'm like, oh my God, I should have been doing this all along. Do you know, when I made that offer, almost everyone in that room signed up for something? And in other words, I was preventing them from
yeah,
getting what they need. And
yeah,
so when your husband said that, I mean, that's exactly it. It's like people are chomping at the bit, wanting you, wanting more of you, and you're halting them from
yeah.
getting the solution that they need when you're afraid to make that offer. So I love that. I'm so glad that you said that. It's so true.
Yeah, and it's really that easy everywhere we go. And you just
Yeah.
have to remember that, you know, you're providing people an opportunity. You're not hard selling anyone. If you feel like it's the process of, I have to sell something to them, but I have to follow up with them, and then I have to call them again and sell something to them, and then I have to follow up with them, and I have to call them again and sell. I don't do things that way. So, and I did the same thing, Tish. I had built the community Lead Up for Women, and I had built it for 2 years before I ever offered my coaching services. And I've been coaching for 20 years. And
Yeah.
so someone asked me, like, don't you do coaching? Could I coach with you? And I was like, well, yeah, I've been doing it for a long time, but I never thought about really offering it as an entrepreneur. I had done it in corporate America, but I had launched over 300 businesses, right? I had a really good portfolio.
Mhm.
And then when I did finally offer it to my community and put together something on the fly, and I was like, you know what? I wonder how many people feel the same way. I was just overwhelmed with the return of emails and people saying, I'm in, I'm in, I'm in. And I just couldn't believe it. So again, we're holding things back from what others need. And if
Yeah.
this is your purpose and this is what you're doing, I love flipping the narrative to how many people can you impact? Because when you write a book, you don't write a book to impact 3 people. You
Right.
write a book to impact millions of people. So why are you afraid to sell your book? If
Yeah.
no one gets a hold of the book, you're not impacting anybody. I
Oh,
love the impact word.
so I'd love to share something. I hope
Yes,
that's okay because
let's
this has
do it.
been blowing my mind all morning. I heard something and then I said, I hope it's okay because I'm going to go and I'm going to use the
Oh, it's
scripture.
fine. Go ahead.
So just so you know, there's this scripture that many people are familiar with this about the parable of the talents. And
Mm-hmm.
you can find it in Matthew 25 and probably in some of the other gospels as well. Well, he talks about giving one five, one three, and one one, and expecting them to multiply it while he's away. Well, what I found, and I'm listening to this because I also really understand the spiritual side of sales, is that when we are hiding our gifts, we're hiding our talent, we're holding it back. Not only are we doing a disservice to ourselves, but we are literally shrinking our impact. And I believe that we will be held accountable for not really
Oh,
providing
yes.
for the people that we're supposed to provide. If we're supposed to impact, a multitude, if we're supposed to impact a nation and not just a network, a small network, and we miss that, then you know what I mean? I feel like we have a responsibility and an obligation to
Yeah.
multiply what we've been given. So many of us, ourselves included, right? We have a gift to be able to speak, to be able to coach, to be able to help someone in whatever capacity. I heard you mention your sponsor who helps people with health. So how dare us hold it back and not make that, whether it's an offer, whatever you want to call it, we have a
Mhm.
responsibility to share it with the people who need us the most. And so if you kind of going back to that mindset shift, if it goes back to, wait a minute, I have people I'm supposed to
Mhm.
be helping, I have an impact I'm supposed to make, then go make it. Do what you must do to get out of that frame that you might have that's causing you to say, I can't, I don't want to, I'm too afraid. Think about the impact that you're called to make. And I think that makes all the difference in the world because we have to do what we're called to do.
Absolutely. And we can talk about God all day long on my podcast because
Okay.
everyone knows how much I love him, how much faith I have. We've talked about scriptures before, so it's all good here. Don't
Awesome.
worry about that. But you're absolutely right. And I believe that if we're still living on this earth, it
Yes.
is because we've not fulfilled our purpose. Even children that pass away, they've fulfilled their purpose. They were here for a reason, just as we are all here for a reason. And there's an understanding of why we have an individual fingerprint. We're not to be like others. We're to stand out, and I've said this on my podcast before. When there's a robe of all these, if you're at a concert, you see all these beautiful white robes up there of singers, and there's one person in a red robe. Everyone's staring at that one person, wanting to know, why are they in a red robe? What are they doing differently? What is special about them, right? We all go straight to the one that doesn't look like the others. So I
Absolutely.
ask people, why do you want to fit in so much? Why don't you do things your way? Your secret sauce is you. Your
Right.
secret sauce is the way you attract people. And I always say, someone in sales won't be attracted to me if their personality leans more to their attraction to Tish, right?
Right.
So there's never a competition. We
True.
can collaborate all day long, because people are attracted to who they're attracted to, period. And
Yeah.
sometimes that happens in a second,
Right.
that they meet someone and they're like, whoa, I'm really drawn to you. And we've got to figure out how to do, more work together. What does that look like? How do we, collaborate more? So know that those people out there are praying for you, to just show up. And I love that you said that, because I do believe we will be held accountable for the gifts that we also held back
Yes.
and not really put ourselves forward, because God wants the most for you in your life. He wants to give you all the riches, all the things. But if you're denying yourself of that, he can't just hand it over to you.
So true. So true.
Yeah.
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 I love this because it again, it gives us a new frame around it, a new way of thinking, but it also really, I hope, forces us to say, okay, it's not about me. Because if it's always about me, then I'll always have a limitation. I'll always have an excuse. I'll always have a reason, if you will, to not do it. But when I say it's about the people who, like you said, are praying, there are people looking for you right now, right? There are people who are Googling what you do and hoping that you show up. And we have to just be there. We just have to show up unafraid, right? Even if we are afraid, still show up. But
Yeah.
then know that someone is looking for you right now. Someone's ready to raise their hand to receive what it is that you have to offer. So again, thank you for the permission to be able to share that way, because I know that there are people who that will help for sure.
Oh yeah, for absolutely. And I love the golden nugget you just shared and just slid right in there, which was keeping the focus on other people and those that you're to impact and not on yourself. When we have the focus on ourselves, that's when we're kind of really looking at all of our imperfections under a microscope, right? And Marie Farleo had a cute little video once where she showed, if the spotlight's on you, and she had a spotlight on her, then you're just like worrying about everything that's going on with you. But if the spotlight's on all the people that you serve and other people, it's so much easier for you to see clearly why you do what you do.
Love that.
And I think it's important for us to remember it's not about us. It's about our gifts, our experience, our wisdom, our knowledge, our skill sets that we have been able to acquire, that now we're pulled to do what it is that we do. And there isn't anyone else like you that can do what you do. There's, a billion authors out there. There's a million coaches out there. There's, all these radio DJs, but they're all different. And people listen to certain TV shows or radio shows or news because they're attracted to something specific about them. So know that there's people out there that are attracted and need what you have that no one else can offer, even though it might look identical to you of what someone else offers. It's not,
Yeah.
because you're the one making the offer.
So true.
Yeah.
I think that if people just think about something as simple as driving down a main street, and you're going to see a McDonald's on one side, and you're probably going to see a Burger King right across the street, and they're not looking out the window going, "What are they doing over there? Are they better than us?" They are minding their business. They're doing their thing, and they never looked up and said, "We can't do it because there's already somebody like us right there." No, they recognize that some people want flame broiled and some people want fried, or whatever you want to call it. And it's all good. And if we will stop trying to compete or compare ourselves with others,
Yeah.
we'll stop worrying about the competition. And like I said, get more into, like you said earlier, rather get more into the collaboration mindset.
Yeah.
And just know that there really is enough for everybody. There really is. We live in a world full of abundance. And I think the only limitations we have are in our own minds.
Mhm.
And it impacts
No.
our bottom line when we think otherwise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We won't get up and do what we're supposed to do if we're so concerned about what everyone else is doing, who else is doing it like you. Worry not. You are your own person. There's no one like you. Just get busy being you and you'll be just fine.
Yeah, I agree. Another golden nugget. Make sure we take that. So tell us, Tish. I know everyone listening is like, man, she sounds so awesome. Well, she is, by the way. And if you want to see her, she's also beautiful, not only smart, but beautiful. You can always pop over to the Facebook page at Lead Up for Women and see the video of her out there. We've got all of her contact information as well, because I already know you want to get in her community. There is never enough learning that we could ever do in our growth. And I always say that our businesses, our relationships, everything in our world can only grow to the extent that we do. So, are you willing to learn more about closing the sale with ease so that it does become something that's just so organic and easy and natural for you. Tish can help you with that. So Tish, talk a little bit about the free offer you have today, how people can get into your community, how they can find you, the best way that they can do that.
Wonderful. We've just made some major changes in our world. So I appreciate the opportunity to share it. So we've literally just changed the name of the business to the Tish Times Sales Agency. And we've created or kind of shifted the focus of the sales training that we do. It's called a Profit Makers University. And it's designed to help people not only bring sales into their world, but also make sure that they understand the profit so that they're able to really serve at a high level and have the freedom to do it from a financial perspective. So the thing that we are wanting people to do is to join our Facebook group, and it's called Profit Makers with Tish Times. If you go to Facebook, Profit Makers with Tish Times, that is our community. We're hosting a profit party every quarter. And so, always if you check in, you'll know when the next profit party is. It just teaches people how to be more profitable in their business and obviously how to close sales with ease, how to have those powerful sales conversations, so on and so forth. And the offer that we are giving is so in line with what we're talking about. I didn't even know it was going to be so in line, but it's called the $1 Million Sales Mindset Blueprint. And it really is designed to help you shift your mindset around the way you see sales. So you can get beyond probably the limit that you might be at. Some of us are stuck at 4 figures, 5 figures, even 6 figures when we should be making multiple 7 figures. So it's designed to help you see things differently so that you can break through the ceiling that you might have established for yourself. And I know you have the link for that, so you can share that.
I do, and we've shared that. And for those of you listening today, either on Facebook or the podcast, it'll be right there at the tip of your fingers. So you can just click on that link, and we'll be sure to make sure that the correct Facebook link is there for you to be able to link to her new rebranded Facebook page. I think that's important that you guys all jump in there. I'm going to jump in there. So I already have decided I'm joining that Facebook club as well, because trust me when I say, you're going to want to hang around Tish a little more to get into her world, because sales is what makes the world go round, right? If you don't offer your opportunities to other people out there, you don't have a business, you do not have any revenue, and you cannot impact the people you want to impact if you have zero revenue. And so when people tell me, oh, I don't do it for the money, I say, well, money is what is going to run your business, and you can't impact any more people if you don't have any money to be able to build your business. So money is important, and it doesn't buy happiness, but it sure as heck provides a lot of opportunity for you to become even a better version of yourself. So think about it that way: serving more people, making a greater impact, becoming a better version of yourself. That's what money provides for you. So money is important, whether we think it is or not. Right, Tish?
Very true. Absolutely.
Very true. All right, Tish. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. I hope you guys all enjoyed today's episode of Closing the Sales with Ease. And I want to just remind all of you that you're the only you that has ever been. You're the only you that will ever be. Think about that. That is pretty enlightening to know there can never be another you. That right there is powerful enough for you to go close the sales with ease, and know that by providing this mindset shift and this opportunity to other people, you give them the choice to choose whether they want to work with you or not. And I love that, because the people that do want to work with you, they're going to be on the front row, and they're going to be right there to do it with you. So Tish, again, thank you so much for all your wonderful golden nuggets and advice today on closing the sale with ease and shifting that mindset so that we can have that $1 million mindset. And make sure you all jump into her Facebook group and take advantage of her free download. So until next week, everyone, be you and be strong, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.